Hey, everybody.
So I heard Wade died.
Oh, thank God.
So did I.
Oh, wait, you mean the character?
Yeah, his character in Star Wars on Wednesday.
That's yeah. I meant that too.
You got bodied, dude. You got killed like
He really did.
off screen.
It was so awesome. I got to lightsaber him.
So Scott, you know that crit you had on that Sith? In the last Star Wars campaign I was in, I had that crit that hurt me every turn.
Oh, yeah, the bleed out, yeah.
Is there a medical personnel on that ship that was able to attend to that Sith?
That's a good question. That's it now in the ether. It doesn't matter.
Well, I'm just curious because if that Sith did not have higher medical facilities and stuff, they'd be dead, bro.
I mean, it is very possible they even had a Bacta tank. Or sorry, that's Swoder errors. It's not Bacta. It's help me out, chat. In Swoder, it's not Bacta. It's something else. It's Keplo tank. Somebody can fact check that one. They probably had a Keplo tank.
Stem cell tank.
Yeah, well, Kelpo or Keplo, whatever it's called. It's actually it's a plant that so Bacta is effectively like stem cells, right? But it's a plant that is from the sea people, the fish people planet that you play on in KOTOR, which Rena is currently playing through, so she should be able to help me out, and she should know that it's Kelpo or.
Bro, I'm at like the first place.
All right, let me show you something cool though.
Rena playing games other than Dark Souls? What the hell?
God, no one wants to see your wiener again, dude.
I'm playing Genshin too. Ooh, you put the Batman machine down there. I play Breath of the
waifu simulator.
Absolutely, and I enjoy it. That's so cool, Scott.
Waka, 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 waka.
My sister has one of those.
Arcade machines?
Yep.
No, basements.
Oh, that makes
not a
sense.
basement.
I understand that. How's that heat in the zona there, Rena?
It's 103 degrees outside.
Sick.
But it's cold in here, so I have a hoodie
Are we really
on.
talking about the weather?
What do you want me to talk about? Not gonna talk about offensive things, Messy. I'm not you. I don't talk about how Rena's dog has 3 legs.
He just did.
No, you did. You made me.
No, I didn't.
Highly capable dog.
It can do anything a 4-legged dog can do except for using a 4th leg.
Except for raise its leg to pee.
Actually, she does. She's got a little like haunch that she just like raises. It's a chicken wing, I call it.
Do you guys know where
Looks like a little
Saddam is hiding? Because I keep looking for him.
He really is just playing over there. I didn't even realize.
Yeah, that's his new stream category. Playing arcade games you can't see.
I like that we
much of
can
the
kind of
screen.
tell though. We can kind of tell like where he is. Thank you.
I just can't wait till I get to go over there and beat all of his high scores.
And then it's just your name at the top, like every time he looks at it.
Well, not if Messi goes there. If Messi goes there, then he's gonna take all that.
Then it'll be messy at the top. Yeah.
I care about Pac-Man high scores.
Bro, you almost got like first place all hole in one frisbee golf.
On the Wii. Not a comparable
It totally
game.
is.
I think it's an accurate comparison. If Rena says it must be true.
I'm just saying he's really good at video games. Okay?
I should have got all hold in one. God damn it.
Scott, did you win?
No, I was trying to clear the whole level without dying once, because if you can get through level 1 without dying once, you have a really good chance of beating my high score, which is currently just under 18,000. So
okay, so I'll beat your high score pretty easily then.
Well, come on over, Tyler. Come
that's what
on.
I was saying here. I would.
Yeah, where's the
Come
invite,
over there
bro?
and beat your high score.
What is the party?
Excuse me, Rena, you're not invited.
Yeah, Rena, it's girls only.
Sorry,
I mean-
bro. Guess I'll catch you next time.
Sorry, bro.
Well, I know Tyler. We've been intimate for some time, whereas you're just kind of like well, you're not real yet. You know how like Tyler and Messi are both very real people to me. I've touched them. But you, Rena,
That sounds ominous, Scott.
but you, Rena,
Like,
you're
what
not
am I
real.
next?
You're not real yet.
I
Good.
still have an ongoing
So
suit.
keep it that way.
Cryptic is going to be very real very soon.
Massey was just talking about kissing him, and now
Whoa.
you're talking about touching him.
Whoa.
Listen,
see.
I'm just waiting for Rena to drive him to our date.
I hate you guys.
It's
Oh
not,
boy, I can't wait to play Regicide with my good buddies, my good pals.
they're
When's
all
your
what they're all
husband
they're,
coming over so we can
yeah,
make
exactly.
out with them?
They'll all constantly say like sexual things about your husband. Like,
I
oh.
get it, man. He's cooler.
Oh.
Oh, we didn't say
Fine.
cooler. We didn't say
just
cooler.
hotter. Yeah. Mhm.
I didn't say it. You said
Oh,
it.
you laughed though. You started this. Okay, let's go. What happened?
Well,
to
I actually
Regicide?
don't know Crip's personality well enough, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was one of those, double date scenarios that Brittany actually got along better with Crypt. And like we were chatting about so
That's
much D&D
mostly
stuff.
how it goes with most of my couple friends. Like I'm the weird nerdy gamer person who always gets along better with like whoever the weird nerdy gamer person is. And
Well,
the other
Well,
people
I prefer
usually end up
nerd,
being the
geek, Poindexter, none of this like weird stuff, okay?
You're weird, Scott. Get
Unless
over
you're
it.
saying a wicked weird. I am wicked weird.
Hey Scott, can you let me out? I have to use the bathroom.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, hold on. Nobody can see past the green screen. You're good.
Can they see my lower half?
No. You're good. You're good.
Okay.
Although we might be able to see the water change colors.
I'll go under.
The wait. We can still see the water, Messi.
We should have a double date in a hot tub. I think that'd be really fun. We should stream it.
Are you just trying to get me naked?
No.
Oh,
would you be
before we
naked?
actually start the show, I have a really quick question. Do you know the difference between It's actually a food question. So I don't know because
So what do I roll?
Tyler's more of a foodie than the rest of you guys, so he might actually know. But just because I like them on my salad or whatever. Tyler, do you know the difference between garbanzo beans and chickpeas?
I know the difference.
What's the difference?
I've never paid someone to garbanzo bean on my face.
I've never had garbanzo beans on my face.
Oh, I never had garbanzo bean. That's it, yeah.
I've never had a garbanzo bean on my
Never
face.
had- I've never.
I've never had a garbanzo bean on my face. I've never had a chickpea on my face. Oh,
Speaking of which, this is so random, but I just remembered.
sorry, Messy. The
did-
fact that you knew that it makes me love you that much more.
Hold on. Of course I know that.
I love Messy.
You did kill me the other day, though. So, still kind of upset.
It took effort.
Did you guys know that Kentucky is the only state that starts with a K?
Hold on. Kansas? Kentucky? Wait. What?
Kansas dick fit in your mouth, yo.
Wait,
That's
Kansas
literally the
what?
joke.
Kansas
She
what?
fucking
Dick.
destroyed you, dude. Holy shit. She says
Kansas
asked
dick.
you if you're
dick
if,
fit in
if,
your mouth, bro. Kansas dick. That's so good.
Sorry, I just heard that one. I had to do it.
I God, I feel so old. I don't get it.
Kansas dick.
Oh,
Kansas.
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 Oh, Kansas. Gotcha. Okay, I was like, I don't get the equation here. I get it now. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, that was.
I think,
Reno,
I think you need to, Scott, it's confirmed you need to grow a few more inches before you can understand that joke.
Oh, 5'11".
Oh God.
Needs to be younger.
Damn. Double homicide, bro.
All right. Listen, speaking of homicide, I don't know if you guys ever read the Valorant Town Hall area, but let's just say Green is very bitter.
About?
Not just Green, but because of what has transpired as a offshoot yeah, oh, yo, he ain't the only one. As an offshoot in Idir. because of what has happened.
I was helpful. I rolled low when I needed to roll low. That's all I can say.
So I usually don't like to put thoughts in your head before we jump into a session, but I will do it this once. Oh, actually, I don't need to. He said, what was the exact words? What was the exact words he said in its spoilers chat
Try
earlier?
not to break anything on your way
on your way out, yeah. The fear of what kingdom rolls might ensue afterwards. So
Hey, their characters could come talk to us if they got a problem with it.
yeah. Well, either way, I am so ready. I am
Scott,
so ready.
How do I roll for lighting this new barn on fire?
And by barn, you mean like the whole kingdom, right?
Scott knows what I mean.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Jake. Excuse me, Jake. Jake, excuse me.
I appreciate you.
Sorry, Jake. Am I in your way? Excuse me, Jake. Sorry. See, every single time I try to move a different direction, Jake, you're still in front of me.
See, the problem with that is that's a good thing because what a beautiful man that is. That Jake fellow.
Yeah, maybe I'm just stepping in front of him.
That could be the case.
You're like, darn.
Oh my
Sorry.
goodness.
Oh my God, I'm
sorry.
so sorry.
Sorry.
We keep bumping
I
into each
guess
other.
you're
We
just
can
gonna have
give
to
up
go
and live like
through
this.
me.
Uh-oh, Kudan 2.0. Uh-oh. Okay. So, Rena, would you like to recap us? Or no, because you have to do that on Wednesdays.
We can make Wade do it on Wednesdays. He takes notes now.
That's true. Make Wade do
I'll
it.
do it on a Wednesday.
Or you can make me do it from chat if I'm there because I usually remember more than you guys.
I don't have any
Alright,
I don't have any
alright.
notes for Regicide from last week. I'm sorry.
As Scott and
Yeah, nothing
Patrick
really
know
happened.
from their last Star Wars campaign.
Why do you know more about the Wednesday campaign than Regicide?
Because it's easier to watch and like know everything that's going on than think about what my character would do and
Yeah.
also think about
yeah,
what
you got to do it. Yeah.
He's Tyler during the Wednesday thing, but he's actually a character during this, so he has to be in two different minds.
Gotcha.
It's-
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I get that. Either way. So Messi, recap us. Give us the 45-second version.
Let's see.
The session prior ended with baby dying and going inside of hell and bag.
Right,
No.
baby died. It got sucked up by a demon. That's right. Okay. And then we were looking around for a way to get Ophios all set up in his little cocoon thing. And then we discovered an extra room downstairs. Ophios used it, but it got too hot, so everyone else left, and Snaga actually appeared physically and told Ophios something that I don't remember.
bad shit's going down.
Oh yeah, he said bad stuff's going down, and then we teleported to Hod Gwent, to the
Correct.
bank, to the other
Yeah,
Snaga statue that was down there.
Yep.
And
Rena
then
and
we
Ophios
talked to
kind
a
of
fire guy.
fought, right?
That's
Rena
right.
and
that
Ophios
happened.
had a disagreement where they
Yeah,
like,
mommy and daddy
Yeah.
were fighting.
yeah.
And then we talked to the fire guy for a little bit. We didn't really get too much useful info. And then Kithel appeared, and we chatted with him. There's some stuff in between there, but it wasn't that important. And Kithel was like,
Pinky
"Come
ring
with
got
me.
removed,
You
too.
caused a big oopsie in the timeline." And we followed him, and we ended up in somewhere else. Somewhere
back,
into the earth.
back in Cursefall.
Oh, Cursefall.
Yep.
And something about planes. I don't remember at this point.
Yeah, so
Okay.
everything feels wonky, weird. Everything feels off-putting to the point where, like, even gravity feels a little bit off, as like the planes themselves all have their own gravitational fields, right? Have their own gravities there. Sometimes their gravity is even optional directional, meaning you could choose which way gravity goes. As the planes are more or less being twisted and bent and compressed in the areas where you are, everything feels very, very, very strange at the moment. So again, we'll kind of get to that momentarily, but back to what you're doing at the moment, the when you guys come stepping out of the portal. Oh, and then of course you get the Stinky Pinky resolved, right? Yay. So when you guys come stepping out of the portal, is more or less where we had left off. Coming through the portal into Kurzfall with Kithul to go and explain what had happened. Now,
Oh, Rita put a guy in a barrel.
I'm sorry.
Rita put a guy in a barrel.
Oh yeah, yep, that happened.
That was a very important detail. I'm so glad you interrupted the flow, specifically for the barrel.
Well, he could have drowned. It might be a very important.
He might have died.
Yeah.
You saying his life doesn't matter?
I think
Wait,
that's what he's saying.
Kithul tried and failed at what? I don't know what he's talking about. Either way, so oh no, it took like 3 clicks before it went through, and then eventually it went through. Is what it was.
Oh, that's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So the teleporter did work. It was strangely wasn't working at first. Yeah. All right. So, anyways, important things to note: people that aren't currently with you, that aren't currently going to be inside of a deer. I'm just making sure I write this down for myself for at least moment 1, because they're not there. They're currently inside of the other place, because they were there handling stuff. I think I marked all of them down. Yeah, nobody else would be there right now. Okay, cool. So,
or is that for your notes?
that was just my own notes. Yeah, my own notes. I just had to make sure who I did not represent in any upcoming conversations. That's all it was.
Okay.
So, you guys come walking through the portal now. As you've been into Kurzfall many times. You've been through the castle of Kurzfall, which is unnamed, funny enough, many times.
Viking just saved the guy in the barrel for you, Rena. So you should thank Viking.
Oh no! They didn't die. They just natty 20'd, so they came conscious again because of their death save. But it's raining out right now, and that barrel, despite how it is you thought you had arranged it, is currently filling up with water.
We have critical successes here. They woke up and
Yeah. That's why they woke up with 1 health point. That was a natty 20. They woke up with 1 health point. That's 6. Now they have to try to break through the barrel. They have 3 attempts.
That's
didn't knock him
standard
out.
rolls.
Listen, they have 3 attempts, but because
Like-
they're compressed in a barrel, they have to roll with disadvantage. The DC is 14, and their strength modifier is -1 because they common, yo. So DC 14, strength -1. They have to roll at disadvantage, 3 attempts, and then they drown.
All right,
it goes.
Chad, start rolling.
Oh. Either way, so back to you guys. You guys come walking into Kurzfall, as you have many times, specifically the castle in Kurzfall. And you know, you've heard me describe many times before, when you go into the larger anteroom and Kurzfall and the castle, there's a large the large beautiful stairwell that goes upstairs to the 2nd floor of the castle, and it has that almost like balcony area that goes around it. You guys come walking out of the doorway that's at the far end of one of the balconies. So immediately when you step out, you're able to look down and see like the grand area down below. Down there, you can see there happen to be a couple of the leaders that you know are down there having conversations. So first and foremost, you can see that my apologies. Arthur, who you guys know from when you spent your time out inside of Thronekeeper, what is that, Malta? So you see Arthur is down there having a conversation with some Hafue, or halfling, that you guys are not familiar with, as well as several other guards. They're down there having like a conversation, but also standing in the doorway of what would be, so also on the 2nd floor with you, standing in the doorway of where the library is, because that's where you spoke to Elliot recently. You actually see Elliot and Ravina are having a conversation over there with one another, and Kithul comes walking through the portals. As he comes walking through, and the 3 of you, it comes walking out of the portal room. As he was walking out of this doorway with the 3 of you in tow, it very quickly catches the eye of Ravina, who taps Elliot, stopping him from speaking mid-sentence. And the 2 of them quickly approach over to you guys as you approach over to them. And Ravina says, "Did you discover anything?" And Kithul's like,
"I discovered much. Perhaps we should call a meeting."
And Elliot looks at the 3 of you standing behind Kithul. Then he looks at Kithul. Then he looks at Ravina. And you can roll an insight check.
Reading, you're not rolling as yourself, are you?
Wrong campaign.
Woo! I'm rolling real high.
Okay, I'm rolling as the other Rita. Let's see what I get. A 10.
Doesn't matter. Yondis blew it up.
Yeah.
Yonda's the one that picks it up. You get the realization, as you've heard me talk about the meta before, that he's not very happy that the three of you were involved in whatever it was you were involved in. You get the impression that he's like he has that very much "I told you so" kind of look on his face. But he's really good at hiding it. He's really good at hiding his emotions and whatnot. So he's pretty subtle. So they're not able to pick it up. He actually, natty 20 certainly helps. A 25 certainly helps. You were able to pick that up, but it's very subtle.
Can you tell if he has irritable
No,
bowel syndrome
from
at the
Elliot.
same time? Can
He
you
does
tell
not
if
have
he has
IBS.
irritable-
No.
Okay.
He's not making the Andy Sandberg face.
I just had to ask.
Jizz in my pants. That guy?
Yeah. The Andy Sandberg face.
Hey Scott,
Si, senor?
dude died.
Who? Yeah. I do agree. The music does feel loud. Did I play with my volume mixer recently?
Because that would be a 13 and a 15.
Oh, I did play.
15
Oh,
doesn't-
I remember why. Because the music for Star Wars is so quiet, I had to quadruple the volume. That's why it's
Wait,
so
did
loud
you
over
say
here.
DC 15 on rescuing the guy? Because that's
There
a 15.
It's a -1 modifier.
Oh, so it's a 14.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you say DC 15? I thought you said DC
I thought-
14.
Oh, hold on,
He
hold
might have
on.
said DC 13.
DC 14, but it was with
Oh, then he made it.
disadvantage. So that
He still
14
made
and
it.
16 equals 13 and 15, but you accept the 13.
Yep.
And then there's a
So
13 and
he's dead.
14, so you accept the 12. And then there's an 11 and a 3, so you accept the 10. So there's 3
dead.
checks, and he died in all of them.
2.
All right, cool. Back to the important stuff. So you get the impression that he just clearly is, again, kind of annoyed. So he nods, and he immediately calls down below to the person that you, like I said, Arthur. Oh, to get Arthur's attention. He says, Arthur, if you don't mind, could you go and collect Flair for us? And then he looks over at the Hafu. No, Flair is down there. That's the Hufue. Sorry. He says, Arthur, if you don't mind, could you go collect Amelia for us? And Flair, if you could please find Retrock. We need to call a meeting. And the two of them look upwards and, of course, say, yes, chosen. And then they're going to immediately go off and find the other leadership. Elliot looks to the three of you and says, looks like you've been through a lot as of late. Do you need refreshments or something before we call the meeting? Details are important, but it's also important for one to have their strength.
I don't see why not.
So, I don't eat. So whatever you guys want.
It's just me, and I say yes.
Okay. He nods and he calls to one of the guards down below and says, can you escort them to the kitchens and see to it that they're taken care of? And the guard will immediately come up to collect the three of you.
This is where we came from before, right?
Yeah,
Who
yeah.
was
This
the
is
This is above the tomb thing.
correct. Wait, what's
No,
it?
no, we're in Hodgwen.
No, where we originally were, where we killed the demon, or found the demon.
No, we're in a
No.
different place now.
Yeah, different
Okay,
place. Yep.
okay.
You're in
I
Curse
just wanted
Fall,
to
not
make sure.
Sunrest.
Because I'm like, I want my haversack back.
Okay. So
First of all, yeah, that's right.
So either way, you go follow the guard who leads you guys down into the kitchens where they're going to make you food. It's kind of like your last opportunity to have a little aside amongst your characters, if you choose to have one, kind of leading into the conversation that you're going to have with the leadership of Valorant. If you choose to have a side conversation, you might just like sit there and house some food or twiddle your thumbs or whatever it is that you do.
Do I know these people? Is he on us?
You know like nobody. No,
Okay, just checking.
I think you met
Ophios.
Kithel once. I think. But
Well,
go ahead.
I think I just met him.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You
Yeah,
just made him.
yeah,
Yeah, that's right.
just- yeah, last week.
Okay, just checking. This is all new to me. Okay.
Ophios is gonna nudge Rena and just simply say, "We might need to be careful what we say."
What are you referring to?
Snaga warned me that there were greater problems at hand at what was caused when you took the soul of that creature.
Well, I mean, there's not going to be much that we can get by them, but I'll do my best.
Well, it seems we're all on the same side of this, right?
It may not seem that way to the other party. We could be a great cause of their problem.
He'll kind of shrug and sit back in his chair and not eat.
I'm not saying lie. I'm saying be careful what we say,
Mhm.
how we word things. Chat, Snaga.
Cool. I will continue to eat then.
That's it.
Not too
Perfect.
much.
Cool. So, Rena, nothing else that you want to do like right now before we go jumping into the next part?
Why
Also,
you ask?
how do you spell the word marriage? M-A-R.
R-I-A-G.
Oh, it's I before A.
I-A-G.
I thought it was A-I. Gotcha.
Except
okay.
after divorce.
Think merry age.
Yeah, gotcha. All right. So you guys are sitting there. You finish up your meals, and then it's time for you kind of get summoned back upstairs. As you guys go walking upstairs, one of the cooks looks over to the solemn-looking soldier that's leading upstairs and says, "Remember, Greg." And the guard just nods knowingly. They lead you upstairs to the same meeting room, portal room that you were just in earlier that day. As you go walking into the portal room, again, everything here just feels strange. It feels uncomfortable. But again, the air tastes different. It seems too blustery, even on the inside. You have this feeling almost like your life is literally being clawed away from you, while also feeling invigorated, like you've never had more energy before, ever. It also feels both uncomfortably warm, and the static electricity in the air is extremely high. Pretty much anything you touch that's metallic, god damn it, you get a shock from. Everything here is just very strange for you. Either way, you end up making your way upstairs and into the meeting room, like we previously discussed, the portal room. You sit down at the table with the group of people around you. To be clear with who you have around the table, it's a whole cast of characters that you have sitting there. You have Arthur, who we know is the Grand Diplomat. You've met him before, like I said, over in Malta. You have Elliot, who you know very well. You have Kithul. You have the person, the Hafue, that you just got identified to you as being Flair. You had never met Flair before. You have Retrock. You know who Retrock is. And you have Ravina. Ravina being, you know who she is. The only other one that's sitting inside the room that you're not very familiar with is another woman, human woman, who very quickly gets identified to you as being somebody named Amelia. For those of you that are counting at home, Telly and Nelly are not inside the room right now for their own reasons.
Is Amelia the lady that we met before? The one that was flirting with Doxy's character when Rena got healed?
That's Ravina.
Ravina was the one
That's
that was
okay.
being friendly with Doxy's character, but honestly was full-on banging with Will's character.
Oh, gotcha.
Like they were like hate fucking with love. Like it was some intense scenes that Will
Okay,
was
thanks,
describing. I was like, okay, thanks. Anyways, moving on. The so they're sitting around the room, and you can roll an insight check as you guys go walking into the room to kind of get a reading of it. Waiting for you, Messicus. Actually, Messy, I'm so sorry. You can go ahead and roll me with advantage, I meant to say.
Oh,
I said it
great.
before I knew the result, so it's okay.
Well, not much better.
That's fine.
I
Does anybody want to
yeah.
look what you guys have there?
I have the highest roll. There's no luck anyway.
Yeah, because nobody loves you, and chat's not going to give you luck this time. Right, chat?
Okay.
Nope, they want us to die for the sins
It's my
of
birthday
Rena.
tomorrow. I'm just kidding.
Any primers in the chest?
Yeah.
It's,
no.
it's my sister's birthday today. Well, my adopted sister.
Oh,
It's my
nice.
brother's birthday
Not-
today.
Not actually.
America's
called him-
birthday in 2 days.
I called him. He didn't answer.
No.
No. It's my uncle's birthday today, too, but I wouldn't call him.
Everybody say happy birthday, Ellie, and happy birthday, Scott's brother,
His name is Gary.
Gary, Ellie, and
Like
Gary.
the snail from SpongeBob.
Fail.
Yes, just like there, yeah. So you guys go walking in, you get kind of a read of the room. The room it looks very serious, but you can imagine that, of course, with the fucking world going upside down around you. So the room looks very, very serious. You notice that Jesslyn isn't here. Leon Yeager, who you know of, is not here, as well as the other person, Ezek is not here. So the three of them aren't here, as well as I noticed Chet, Telly, and Nelly. Either way, so you guys go walking in, where as you walk in, almost immediately, Elliot says, "Have a seat," and gestures towards three empty chairs that are all kind of like lined up next to one another. And then after he says it, he realizes it sounded a little bit too much like a principal or a parent that's about to talk to you about discovering a pack of cigarettes in your bedroom. And he says, "Please."
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
you.
Take a seat.
As you guys get the seat, he says, "We did prepare entertainment for the evening." And then the door flies open and
That bastard Rayrin deserves what he gets.
I
That
don't think
bastard
that's
Rayrin
necessary.
deserves to die.
I mean, like, if this feels
from
fair,
the
Hey, where's
ether,
the emote?
from the ether, all of a sudden you hear,
I want my BP.
and the memes are over.
does this happen every meeting?
So anyways, yeah, I did get that. Rita, I'm angrily waiting for the other emotes to do just a big update, but I should probably just throw it in there.
Scott, I was
Either
hoping you'd have
way.
people, you'd have snake whisperers that play the instruments and snakes. Ooh.
Tyler's like, "No,
And,
down."
and then
Yeah.
Ophios will just start. Wait, what? Huh? What?
All right, so back to game. Sorry, I was just brain being goofy. So you guys sit down and immediately to start the meeting, which is appropriate because he is the chosen, or one of the chosen. Elliot is going to chime in and say, "Rena, Ophios, and Yondas, nice to see the three of you again, but and it's nice to see that the three of you had survived your encounter. We understand that it was a very dangerous endeavor that you were putting yourselves in. And I certainly hope you're able to collect all of the information that you needed to while you were down there. As for the other books and the like that you had set with Jesslyn, they were brought back to us so that we can look into these things further. They were brought back to Sun's Rest, some of them. Others were brought back here, but they are around so that they can be looked into by the three of you, as previously discussed between her and yourselves. So just to have that put out of the way, because I'm sure it's a concern on your minds. I do have to say, however, there are concerns on our minds as well, especially as to what had transpired down there. Now, we did have an opportunity to speak with Kithel, as Kithel had an opportunity prior to speak with the Elemental, where in Hod Gwen, where he came across the three of you. It seems as though much has transpired that none of us anticipated when you were sent down there.
No one talks.
We're just waiting for him to say the next thing. Yeah.
It's like all like pulling at her collar, like, man, is the AC on?
Mhm.
Rena, I have to ask a question, if you don't mind. The axe that you had at your side when you entered into the catacombs, the ruins, whatever you'd like to call them. How did you procure this weapon?
Ophios actually looks to Rena because he doesn't know how this happened. He wasn't there.
Glance to Kithel, and then I'll look back and say, well, it was gifted to me.
Gifted to you by who?
Rayrin, actually.
Rayrin, and I do want to be clear, Rayrin and not Grishka. You very well may know the Chosen of the Blade as one.
Well, I suppose it belonged to one originally. At least that's what Rayrin said. That's what they said.
That's what Kith.
So I suppose it was from Grishka.
He nods. Do you have any belief or reason to believe that Grishka would have gifted this to you as well? Or is this something given to you directly from Rayrin?
I honestly didn't know them well enough to say one way or the other, but it was certainly given to me by them.
Did you know what this axe was prior to the situation downstairs?
Not fully. I couldn't tell you what created it or...
Sorry, I don't mean to interject, but what exactly is this that we're doing here? Is this an interrogation, or are we trying to figure this out?
To a degree, yes, it is an interrogation, but that's just because we're trying to get to the bottom of everything that had transpired in our kingdom, of course, because we have many thousands of people that depend on how it is we handle situations.
I don't want to sound rude, but does the origin of the axe matter right now?
Well, yes, it does. Yes, and the reason why it was used, and the purpose behind its use, and so on. I can actually give you a little bit more insight as to the origin of the axe. The axe, as far as I've been able to procure all the information thus far, was actually a gift to Rayrin by an imp by the name of Phaedril that served Rayrin for some time, or perhaps even all of the Chosen, for some time after they made a pact or deal with the devils that they came across during one of their previous adventures in a keep to the north, similar to the one that we sit in right now, or the one to the far west where you had fought that creature inside of the catacombs, another mole ruins. Anyways, it was delivered to Rayrin as a gift by this imp. Rayrin, of course, had no need for this weapon, so it was then given as a gift from Rayrin to one, but not before it was reforged by the skill of a weaponsmith that I believe you, Ophios, are particularly familiar with yourself, Hansa. She was able to reforge the axe due to its the sword due to its malleability and turn it into an axe for Grishka to use. But sensing its deeper and darker, I suppose more sinister nature, Grishka never once used that axe in combat. Instead, he eventually decided to leave it locked up so it would never fall into the hands of others until he understood it better. He wanted to know what he was using before he did. But then I'm being told that it was gifted to you by the Chosen. Now, it's important to note whether or not that Chosen was Rayrin singularly, or if it was Grishka. Because, as we've all noted,
that bastard Rayrin deserves what he gets.
And we don't want to mince details.
So I guess Yondis will stop asking questions and stare at Rita and let her answer.
Rayrin was the one I spoke to about it, so I imagine it was him.
He nods. All right. Did you know what this axe was prior to entering the catacombs?
Not completely.
How much did you understand?
It had magical properties.
I think, if I remember correctly, and unfortunately I have very little experience with the axe myself, it was rather guarded. I believe that was rather apparent. So beyond the immediate appearance, were there any inclination to its origin beyond that?
It was a strange weapon to wield nonetheless, but
Rena, you seem rather guarded. Please allow me to put your concerns to rest. While certainly the actions that you took have a deep impact on all of us. You're not exactly sitting before a tribunal that's about to march you out before a chopping block and have vengeance put upon you. You were given a devilish item by a supposed person who didn't have their head on their shoulders. And you fell into a circumstance where you couldn't possibly know the outcome of your actions. I'm trying to understand how much you did know prior, because this does impact what we can do moving forward. And he pauses for a long moment. I have a library, if you will, where I have been collecting many tomes and scrolls and whatnot, researching specifically otherworldly creatures, demons, devils, so on, but specifically devils for some time. A task appointed to me by the previous chosen of the Quill. A task appointed to me by Rayrin himself. While being consumed by whatever pacts he made while he was alive, I think a biting guilt in the back of his mind was leading him to try to find a way out of his contract. Nonetheless, he never discovered one.
Rayrin had a contract.
It is understood that boons, 3 of them, were given to Rayrin and the other chosen. We know at least one of them was used.
So what I'm getting from this is that this is Rayrin's fault.
No. You have to take responsibility for your own actions. But that doesn't mean that the details that you can deliver to me couldn't necessarily coincide with the research that was put upon my shoulders by Rayrin, therefore allowing me to aid you in the current situation. So am I pissed? Yes. But I'm also trying to find a way to remedy the situation. So please be as forthright as you possibly can, because that is going to make things better moving forward.
Ophius just turns to Rena.
Well, in our encounter with the creature below the keep to the west, that thing didn't seem completely dead. So I was trying to think of an alternate way to take care of it, seeing as how my normal weapons weren't doing anything, and I chose to use the axe. That definitely seemed to have taken care of it. However, that's when this devil, I suppose, appeared. So what you're saying is the same as what he said to us. But that's when we left afterward.
He nods. Did you know that the axe had these properties prior? Was there any understanding that it had the ability to do what was suggested, that what you suggested to Kithul that it did? Or were you completely caught off guard by this?
I didn't know that was exactly what it did, but after seeing it happen, then I was sure.
You never saw the axe in action prior?
I don't know if I had. I didn't recognize it for what it was, not until the last time I used it.
It's funny enough, I was actually going to say, Rena, you need to use a deception check.
I know. I was waiting for that.
I rolled my advantage insight because I know Rena really well, so.
I mean, we both know she's only. We watched her use it like
I
a lot.
Ophios was not there during the trolls. He was not there during the majority of the time in which the axe did this. I don't believe Ophios ever.
We were fighting the gibbering mouthers.
He was in the midst of fighting a gibbering mouther himself.
Oh, I guess it was closer to me then.
Yeah.
How inconvenient that you hadn't
a
seen it.
9.
What did you get? Oh, a deception of a 9. Oh boy, Rena.
Kithel's gonna understand what's
Trash.
going on.
Trash.
That is not a good roll.
You shouldn't lie.
No, really?
Give me 1 second. I just gotta confirm my modifier because I have to. Oh no, no! That secret website with all the different 5e stuff is a 404 now.
What?
What?
I mean, honestly, I'm surprised it lasted that long. It lasted quite the long
No
while.
kidding.
For me, it works for me.
Wait, really?
Yeah. If it's the same one we've been using, it
Yeah,
worked
it's
for me.
up.
Hold on. I'm gonna try to do this in incognito mode.
Really hard to take down a site, just saying.
Yeah.
No,
Very
there's a lot of
difficult.
copyright content on there. Hold on. I'm trying to incognito mode it.
A lot of the links that
404,
then-
man. Okay,
if you don't, you have to go through the pathways changed, so you have to start with the base URL, Scott. So if you're trying to go to a shortcut to a pathway, it'll mess up.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, gotcha. All right, so I'm there now. I just need to click something real quickly because I have to check out what his modifiers would be being his level in 5e versus, you know. So level this is a plus that, and it's because I'm not trying to cheat and use his Pathfinder modifiers. And that's so he has that. So I will roll for him specifically, and then I can roll for other people in the room afterwards.
Scott, we have our weapons and everything, right?
Yeah, they didn't take anything from you.
Okay.
Oh, well, that was weird.
Ophios-
What the hell? Oh, okay. So, he is easily able to discover, and then just because it's important for the other person as well, let me just grab this other person's modifier, which will actually be even better. So, much greater chance of discovering. And their modifier is going to be clear. Yeah. Okay. So let me just roll for one more person. Oh, but still won. Thank God. Okay. So, I can close you.
Ophios just positions himself to touch his shield.
So what's it called? Elliot goes to open his mouth after she says that. And before Elliot speaks, you actually hear.
Rena, please. Now is not the time for deception. We are not your enemies. And some people at this table think that's not to be true. Some people think that perhaps you have made too many a foolish decision and have hurt too many people. We are trying to convince everyone here that you are an ally. But by lying, it is painting a very poor picture of yourself to those you're projecting it to.
Elliot looks at Kithel, and you can get with your little insight check there, Messy. Elliot looks at Kithel, and he looks a little agitated, but Kithel, ever the kind person, is always there to try to lend advice and try to give people benefit of the doubt. Sometimes, despite his high wisdom score, sometimes perhaps a bit foolishly, because he gives too many people too much trust too often. But either way, that's just the weakness of his soft heart. So he kind of gives Kithel a bit of a look like, spilled the beans there, buddy. Anyways, so Elliot looks back at you. Of course, it was Yondis that had picked that up. But all right, no, it was Ophios, I think, that rolled, right?
That was
Yeah.
me
Obviously,
doing
I picked
advantage
that up.
on Rena, though. My insight
Oh,
was on
gotcha.
Rena, not
Oh,
that.
that's what I said.
why I
Okay.
rolled
Either
advantage.
way, you guys can kind of pick that up. Either way, so he turns back to you and says, so then you did know prior, or at least had some understanding.
As I suspected.
Rena, what did you know prior?
Upon using the axe, it seems to tear the soul of the creature from its being.
Did you know where it went after?
That I don't know. But
The reason
if
why
it's involved with devils, then I assume hell.
the reason why it mattered whether or not I knew you knew this, well, I suppose it's a twofold thing. This is one, a test to see if you're willing to be forthright with us. Unfortunately, you're not. That saddens me. I was kind of hoping that things would be easy between us, but unfortunately, we're all going to keep our guard up in this scenario. That makes things a bit more difficult. Alas, diplomacy is a fickle bitch, and we are going to have to navigate our ways through it because we have no other course right now. That being said, and to take a moment back, you were given full permission to be down there. You were given full autonomy to be down there, and while what you did could be interpreted as being cosmically wrong, there are no laws standing against what actions you took while having full permissions to do everything that you did in the laws of Valorant. So that being said, no charges are being held against you, and no trial will be held against you. Now that we have that out of the way, you're knowing what you did prior to taking the action that you did. Your knowledge, your at least mild understanding, is in and of itself like a contract. You understood, but continued anyways. That acknowledgement and continuance is like a contract. That means that there are no loopholes. There are no breaches. There are no ways out. At least we all understand this, instead of wasting our time. These boons, Kithul said you had a time limit to them.
It said 24 hours, which at this point is probably
Closer to 20.
120.
No, wait,
Or
you
so.
guys spent the night, right? No, I think it's closer to
Not
18.
yet.
Closer to 18
No.
hours. Closer, or even after eating and whatnot, probably closer to 17 hours, I should say. Yeah, 17 makes more sense. So either way, continuing. He says, that's very unlike the boons that were delivered to the Chosen prior. The previous Chosen didn't seem to have a time limit for the 3 things that they could request. As the one thing that we know for a fact they requested was long before. Well, we don't know if anything else was requested than that one, but it was understood that they still had them.
I do want it to be known that the situation downstairs, we did not know whether the creature would come back to life or not. Sorry, that's me and my voice and my mic.
Oh, no, you're fine. I can hear you. I just know that sometimes it doesn't feed well to chat. I'm perfectly fine with you.
I mean,
don't project. You have surgery in a couple weeks. Don't project. Don't make it worse. Go ahead.
So, I need you to understand that the situation downstairs was difficult. We did not know that the fallen creature was dead. This creature was very powerful, and Rena did what I imagine she thought was the only way to prove and make sure that this creature did not come back alive and kill me.
As I had said before, we're not casting judgment on the decisions that were being made. We have to handle the situations that are put before us. So as much as I am genuinely interested in the details that you have to offer from an academic standpoint, as for governance, it doesn't matter right now. What does matter is you have 2 boons set before you. I think Kithul has already given you his opinion to not use them. But they're not Kithul's boons. I think we all can understand this, he says, to a table where everybody tenses a little bit. These are boons that probably belong to the 3 of you, or if not, maybe this is or isn't how it worked with Rayren. Maybe just you specifically, Rena. and we can all give you guidance or suggestions. But before we waste our breath, where's your mind on this matter?
What is true? It's my decision on them. But I mean, I didn't realize that it was going to cause havoc elsewhere. What exactly is going on since that happened? The most
Hard-
that we heard was that there was a red flame in the sky, and
Right, brimstone smell.
Yeah.
Just devils, I think.
It's hard to describe what's going on. We don't fully understand. Kithel bumped into you while trying to procure answers. So it's very difficult for us to understand what's going on. I don't know if we will ever get proper answers. The person that could have helped us the best, unfortunately, left our nation just as the, what are they called? Gibberling Mouthers were attacking. Just as the Gibberlings were attacking.
Who?
No,
No,
he's asking who left.
Oh, Nathan. I believe your companions know who he is.
Do you know where Nathan?
yeah, we know him.
Do you know where Nathan might be?
He went west and it's north. His people are nomadic, and he went with them.
He was the druidy guy that I met as Elijah, right?
Correct.
So, two of the chosen are here, right? Kithel and
Yep.
Elliot, is that right?
Yep,
Who's
Leon
the-
is fighting the battle.
Oh, Leon's the third chosen.
Mhm.
I know Leon.
You know all of them.
I know. Well, willing to hear you out, of course.
Well, if you don't have a mind on the matter as of now, allow me to make a suggestion. Don't. Just don't. This is their game. This is what they do. They have you hook, line, and sunk into their plan. They've given you boons for you to utilize to your own benefit. But who's to say that there is any true benefit to come from them? These contracts are written in such a convoluted way that I have read samples of them. There is no way that utilizing any abilities that they offer to you are going to benefit you at all. Sure, perhaps you are hoping to cure world starvation, and you get a couple of bellies filled, but at what cost? At some point, whatever good deed you hope to have as the outcome for the requests that you make is greatly outweighed by the devastating bad nature of the cost to make it happen. Have you, as of yet, used any of the boons?
They already know that there's only 2 left, though, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
so
did I
they-
say that? Oh, yeah.
you did.
Oh, so my apologies. Says you had already used one of the boons. Do you mind my inquiring as to what it was you had asked for and what it was you had received?
Well, that the creature down there was not the only one. There were several mole, I suppose, zombies, undead. That's the word. Undead in the just beneath where that creature was.
Unfortunately, we keep finding caches of undead that rose from what had transpired so many months ago, but nearly a year ago. But that's understood. So, what was the request that you made?
To be able to rid of them easier.
And what is it that you received?
Power?
Where did that power come from?
Couldn't tell you, but they're all dead. So,
I can tell you this. More than likely, someone else, somewhere else, made a contract with the same devil, and you took their power from them, likely at a crucial point in time for the both of you, benefiting you and damning them, making it so that whatever the devil's end happens to be works in their favor. They get the outcome that they desired during this other conflict because you took the power that was promised you at the time that you needed it from them at a time that they needed it. These devils like to walk these lines, very fine lines of law and order, of structure, of proper phrasing. But as a man who rejoices in a good drink and a long night, I tell you, they truly revel in chaos. They use law and order to cause havoc and chaos, destruction, the cost of others in their wake for their own benefit. Don't allow the rigidness of their own structure to beguile you into some safety net. They will lie to your face while telling you nothing but truth.
and if we don't use them, the 24 hours expires. Who's to say he won't do anything beyond that?
Who won't?
The devil.
We don't know what extra harm those devils can do during the time that they are fulfilling your boons. We don't know what they might be. But we do know one thing. They have you.
What do you mean they have, Rena?
Have you read the contract?
We were never given anything in writing.
Did you ask for it?
We weren't allowed to speak. Looks over at Yondis.
Probably because Rena, and I mean this in as little offensive a way as possible, is less inquisitive. By making it so that she's willing to go along while keeping the questioning ones quiet, it allows them to bully their way through the transaction. I'm sure at some point in time, and then he looks at Ophios and he stops and he turns over to Yondis. I'm sure at some point in time you've gone to participate in a larger transaction somewhere in your life. Perhaps a purchase of a fine piece of jewelry for a lady or gents that you were trying to court at the time. And you brought along a companion, maybe even a parent with you for that transaction. The person to kind of guide you through the process, and they shoehorns that person out of the transaction to make sure they could fixate on you and get you to follow along the steps that they preset before you. It's a tactic, and they're using it on you.
Well, they also said the contract wasn't exactly one meant for me. It was a previous one you had mentioned.
It wasn't meant for you, but yet the previous name could just be blotched out and yours filled in the place?
I suppose.
Maybe that's made true because of the fact that you knew what it was prior. Maybe that's made true because you agreed to those terms. It was truth because you accepted it as truth. So it became truth. They can lie to your face without lying to you.
More than likely the not benefits. My brain. Whatever the contract does will affect only the person involved.
More than likely, what's on the line for utilizing all the boons is your soul. But unlike the other souls, which are going to be taken and utilized for whatever horrors they do down there, there'll be a special place for you.
Sorry, do you mind if we maybe skip ahead a little bit?
Turns to you. please.
So we accidentally closed this deal and accepted the terms, right? And so how exactly did all this happen here? Did what we do cause this in some way?
I don't know. What I know is this. Supposedly, the soul of whatever it was that you had sunk down there, when it was taken, just about that time, had a reaction that is making the world here shockingly different, he says.
Is that a pun?
Yes.
Oh, speaking of shocking, at work today, a maintenance request was put in for a work thing about November of last year, and somebody finally came and took care of it. This past Wednesday, I believe. No, this past Monday, they finally came and took care of something that was requested. It was a minor electrical issue back in November. And then a similar issue elsewhere in the building happened about 3 months ago, and a request was put in at that point in time. The person that came in to fix the first issue took care of it and then said, oh, I can't touch the other one. It hasn't been authorized through work orders, so on and so forth. Da, da, da. So finally today I said, fuck it, and I just fixed it myself. It's like, killed the power in the different areas where it mattered and just fucking fixed it myself. Like, I'm not waiting another 5-6 months, whatever it is, for.
Sure, that's a liability.
Yeah. It's the funny thing is, I could totally get in trouble for breaking policy to just like, no, fuck this. It just bothers me. Like, just get it done.
Elliot.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Elliot, you were saying that you've been studying devils now for a while.
Unfortunately, yes.
Is there not a way to use their own manipulation against them?
Mm-hmm.
To use their own boons that were offered to contradict and ruin their own plans?
You can try. You can very specifically rephrase what it is that you're asking for, and so you can narrow the gap wherein they're able to manipulate the request for their own benefit, reducing the amount of harm.
Use them against them.
You can try, but very likely it's written into the contract that you can't bring harm to them with their own boons, or they could just simply say no. Beyond that, you have to understand, Ophios, while you personally, and I do not know you very well, while you personally may be an incredibly cunning individual, while you may be particularly keen and can find your way to snake, if you will, your way through many different situations, you are dealing with creatures that, as far as my research suggests, are older than civilization. In theory, these things have been around since around has been. Now, I don't know how definitive that ethereal description is, but they are old, and they have dealt with many.
I'm not well versed in devils. Do they come from one of the 8 planes, or are they something else?
Devils tend to be bound to certain ideals, certain philosophies. They gravitate to serve themselves, to serve each other in their own hierarchical structure, but also to serve gods. There's no specific plane that they all come from, but then there is also, we call it hell, but we don't know much about where it is that they are, a plane where they are more densely populated.
So
didn't the fire elemental say that devils are often in the fire plane?
I don't think so.
What did you say one more time?
I said, didn't the fire elemental say that devils were often in the fire plane?
Yes.
Oh, we did?
Yeah, he says they find it comfortable there.
Oh. So we made a deal with one particular devil. Is it possible that we might be able to find someone who knows more about this one?
I suppose it's possible, but with the amount of time that we have, the scope of your request is not going to be. It's very unlikely you'd be able to accomplish this. But understand that while you may have made a pact with a devil labeled L, there are many other devils that serve this one in their hierarchical structure: M, N, O, P, Q, and so on. With each letter you move down the alphabet, they are greater in number, serving almost like a pyramid structure beneath L. But then as you move up the structure, you realize L serves the one before it. L serves K, as K serves the one before it, and so on. The structure is very built in. Scripted. No. Continue.
What do
I'll
you mean,
even do with
Scott?
my
I
eyes
just got your
closed.
text of what you told me to say. It's photos 13 minutes ago.
Yeah, Scott, this week's script didn't have this part in it, so I don't know. I don't know what you want me to do, dude. I can't work like this.
Oh, remember, if you don't have a script, Messy, you're supposed to stand up with your pants off and dance. It's in the script.
I didn't get it. I didn't see that. Gee.
All right, go ahead.
I mean, we have allies too that might be helpful if we could get to them. Scott, 13 wouldn't be helpful here, would he?
Ooh, good luck.
Yeah.
Where is he? When
I don't-
is he?
Where is he?
Wish he's here right now. I could just say, or Rena could.
Well, no, you can't.
Oh, wish it on 13. Oh
Hell yeah.
boy.
Again, with your studying of these devils, you've come across other contracts that have been placed before.
I've read contracts that have already lived their life. I found the husks of them. Yes.
This contract for this weapon, the rewards were 3 different things as opposed to 3 different boons, if I remember correctly. One was to save a beloved one. The others, Scott, I'm blanking. But
It
the
was
original contract is
save
done.
the friends and family. What is it? Vengeance on the enemies, or to make a
Yep.
deeper pact that better served both of them.
yeah. So Ovius would recite those 3. Have you come across a contract that had these as the rewards?
I'm actually familiar with that third one, but not with the first 2. No. Well, the first 2 are so ethereal that could be what danger are your loved ones in? What do they need to be saved from? Is it perceived danger? Is it literal danger? For instance, whoever put together this first contract could have been somebody who was not sound of mind. So the danger could very likely have been, I don't know, caught in the backside of a dragon's cave, right? But at the same time, it could have been somebody of an unsound mind believing somebody was in danger when actually they've properly parted ways with a former loved one and are currently happily married to a new individual, raising a family, but the slighted one believes that they are in danger. There are many different avenues that could be true. Same to the enemies. Enemies aren't necessarily mortal, real, dangerous people, but perceived enemies. Somebody who is your rival in a, shall we say, in a marketplace could be a perceived enemy. It's so ethereal.
I'm not trying to get into the literal definition of what these benefits would be. I'm trying to explain that this weapon was discovered, was it not, by the Chosen?
It was discovered, as far as I understand, and please, my information on this one is a bit limited. It was delivered to Rayrin on a field of battle by Phaedril, an imp, so a very low-tier devil, as a, I suppose, a boon, if you will, but not in the sense that we're previously discussing, to aid Rayrin, a token or a gift.
With that said, this weapon, when the demon did speak with Rena, claimed that the contract was for claiming a number of souls using this weapon. And it just so happened that the hit on whatever this creature was filled that. Which is why the contract, therefore, as you say, may have been transferred to Rena. So, the question is a couple of different things. If we can find out the history of this, perhaps we can find a way, or how old this contract is may have been when the devil was less wise. Or, if we can find the original contract or figure out what it was, is there a way to get
I
out of it
will
that way?
tell you this. The few contracts that I have read, and I want you to understand, I am an incredibly fast reader. It's my hobby, if you will. They take days to comprehend. They are written so convoluted. They take days to comprehend. I believe Rayrin at one point in time read his contract and believed he had interpreted them. I know Rayrin. He is not a dumb man, but he is an idiot compared to a devil.
Did he tell you what the contract entailed?
We found out most of what we discovered about the devil situation. A small shred of honesty delivered to Leon at one point in time at the tail end of a major situation that happened in the past, as well as discovery and post.
Elliot, if I can interject again, I'm sorry. It seems that you're telling us that using these boons or going after the contract are just not worth the effort or time, which we seem to be running low on. Maybe if you had an avenue we could go, or if you knew of a way to dispel planes, that would be nice.
Yep. My suggested avenue is to do nothing. To live your life as though these were never given to you.
In this situation outside, just leave it as is, or?
I don't know what to do with that. And then as there's kind of like movement around the table, he says, I am not the only one with an opinion here, he says, looking about the table. But I have chosen to speak on matters that I am very well versed in compared to others who have opinions without as strong or as deep of an education in these matters. So while boons may be used to try to repair the damage that was done, I truly believe the best course of action is to mop up the mess as it stands. And strangely enough, the other chosen in this scenario, Kithel, agrees with me wholeheartedly. Kithel, your opinion on the boons?
As I have said while we were in the basement of Hardgwen, do not use these things. They are of evil. They are for evil. To use this evil will beget nothing but more evil.
And I will go so far as to say that I speak on behalf of Leon as well. Leon would not condone, to say the very least, the use of these things. But you are not subjects of ours.
So, I agree. Sorry, Rena, go ahead. Do you agree?
No, you go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Okay. I agree. I think it best to put things back to the way they were. If we don't have an idea of where to start, can we just maybe go around and spitball any ideas we may have, and maybe we can build something here? I mean, I don't know if the soul they took or the time limit they gave us are as strict as it may seem. I mean, it's perhaps the soul was for something later, or perhaps it caused this, we don't know. But also the 24-hour window might be something that's delaying actions as well? Do you have any insight on that?
First and foremost, I can say that the things that seem to be going sideways in this world might be able to be corrected at a different time through a different avenue. There will be a cost to it, but beyond the scope of what the three of yours talents are capable of accomplishing. Perhaps, if we can contact Elijah, he could aid us in 1, 2, or if we are truly lucky, 3 of the tasks set before us to right these wrongs. He has unique ability and a strong understanding of these things. As for the other questions, I don't even know how to begin answering them.
Ravina finally chiming in at one point, kind of like getting fed up with how long things are taking. She goes, "We don't know for a fact whether or not these boons are going to actually bring about more pain, anguish, so on and so forth. These are the suggestions, these are the assumptions by the two of you. And while I appreciate that the two of you are the chosen, and I myself also voted for the two of you to be the chosen, I also appreciate where it is we all believe Leon's opinion to be in this matter. That doesn't change the fact that you are not the only voices here at this table, and I think the rest of us should have an opportunity to speak sometime soon." To which Elliot will respond saying, "Seems like you already had the opportunity."
Ophios is going to interject at this point and simply say this. Your opinions, while I'm sure I imagine Rena will value, as far as I'm concerned, mean nothing to me. The person who is paying the highest cost, based on what is understood and what I have learned from Elliot's explanation of this contract, is Rena. The boons were given to Rena. At the end of the day, whether what it affects or what power it has, adding understanding is welcomed, I'm sure. But Rena's choice is what matters. At the end of the day, it falls to Rena and Rena alone.
And she's going to chime in right after that saying, "I agree exactly with everything that you just said there, Ophios. Every last bit of that sentiment. Rena's choice. Rena's alone. And not the choice of two particular leaders of a nation to which Rena does not belong, even if she is friendly towards. That being said, these boons could be used for several things. Rena had already utilized one of these boons to benefit herself in their immediate danger. I imagine she has something plaguing her mind that she has every intention of using a boon for, no matter what words we say, because deep down inside, we all know that if we were given this ability, there'd be at least one damn thing that we would make happen, no matter what. And then beyond that, Rena, I imagine, also feels a twang of guilt for what it was that she has done and feels a sense of responsibility towards trying to correct the wrongs that were done from her actions. To which that alone is where I have suggestions. Not the first, we all get that. And not the second, don't lie, you do it too. But the third, that is where I have an opinion. And I will wait until my opinion is asked of. And Ravina sits back in her seat and kind of like purses up and sits business comfortable.
Is that are the boons the major threat right now? Is that why we're out here currently? It's just the two wishes?
So actually chiming in for the first time when you ask that question is going to be Flair. So Flair is a Hafue, as I said, a halfling. Stands at, a solid 3'2". So Josh's height. And so good 3'2". And he actually chimes in and says, "Well, actually, that's not all the concerns. There's some stuff happening out in the woods, out in the forests that surrounds Cursefall. Things that I personally would like to start getting to shortly, but we can't argue the fact that this is some otherworldly bullshit going on right now, and probably should take all of our attention, at least for a short while. we could spare a few hours for a meeting, then we all have many tasks to get to.
Well, who else?
She says, looking around the table. Well, if that's the case, Rena. Retrock sits there and he scratches his chin for a second and goes, I'd like barrels. I would want to make the best barrel ever. No leaks. No leaks.
You
No
said
leaks.
that there was someone that might know more that we could contact that might be more helpful than some of the discussion we've had here. It might straighten things out a little bit.
Kithel actually holds up a finger, silently holds up a finger to you, and keeps looking at Retrock to give Retrock his chance to answer because he was asked. And Retrock says, "After, I wish for biggest, best barrel, barrel that you cannot break, that has no leak, that can easily roll.
All right,
Rolling is
all right.
important.
I could
would
make a
then
wish. I'd
put
wish him to be quiet.
the devil inside the barrel and seal it, because that is where you put a bad thing
You
in a
want to
barrel.
seal the
Also,
devil
where
with
you put good things in barrels. Actually, some of the best things come from barrels."
Hey, Red Rock, I think I saw a barrel outside that was perfect for that particular thing. If you want to go take a look.
He shakes his head and goes, "No, I built that barrel. Not good."
Of course, he built the barrel.
Oh yeah, okay.
Wow, Red Rock really sounds like a barrel of fun.
Ah! The whole table just gets up and starts like flailing their arms.
Like the Muppets.
They're running in circles. Ah, jokes. Anyways,
She'll turn back to Ravina.
before as you turn back to Ravina, before you even get to say anything, Amelia will actually chime in. Amelia is one of the ones that you don't know, so describe her. She's a relatively young female. She's 4'11", so she's kind of shorter. Ashy brown hair, so on and so forth. So when I say younger, I mean as a human. She's probably like, again, humans hit adulthood at 15.
Okay.
So being a human, she's probably maybe like 17, 18 years old, so young, right?
Pretty short though.
Especially amongst this crowd. She's 4'11". That's my wife's height. So, she's 4'11". She actually says, "Well, I mean, with what we've all discussed that's happened here, with everything that's transpired, I'm sure that we could check historical record and find other situations where sudden shifts in the tide, where we've been able to see how a kingdom's prosperity or I suppose trajectory has suddenly shifted in ways that one wouldn't expect, and with making the assumption that you can attribute such things to these otherworldly dealings, narrowing, of course, down that search to later on having those same rulers have, say, perhaps a not so kindly end. Or maybe we're always kind of known for questionable morality. Maybe from looking into these matters, we could actually discover a way that it would come together for possible outcomes. And if there is a positive one that can come from this scenario, now, I don't know how much time I would have to look into these sorts of things, but I might be able to find examples for you as to why you would or wouldn't want to utilize this. But I think there's something important to note here, kind of taking that from a mind step. I'm sorry, my name is Amelia Aro, right? And I'm actually relatively new to the leadership here. I'm the curator. I am a collector of knowledge. I study history, and I actually originally came here because of the mall.
Amelia, I don't think that's very important right now. I think we're trying to get as much information about the current task as possible, and maybe we can go back and do backstories at a later time if that's okay.
I actually think that this, maybe you're right. And then she gets quiet.
Fuck. Can't win. Did you have anything on the devils, though? I would have liked to hear if you had an input.
And then she kind of like thinks to herself, she's like, well, that might maybe kind of, I don't know. And she kind of like,
Ophios would slam his fist on the table and say, "Speak up."
Christ.
She's stuttering and it's making him annoyed.
this happened here in these ruins. What happened to Rayrin, the former chosen? It happened here in these mole ruins. Can we think of any trajectory that has been perhaps altered over the course of time? Perhaps launching their trajectory to a path that we maybe didn't expect prior, if you look at their history before, and it's perhaps outcomes to these people that you, the leadership that maybe you wouldn't have, maybe not so kind outcomes. Because if you think about perhaps where the Perrin come from, the Mole Ruins, the trajectory that they were able to ascertain or acquire through their efforts, controlling half of the continent, and what happens to their leadership, according to you lot, they're not Perrin. There's some sort of other race of people in disguise. One might be able to assume that maybe devils were involved in that. It all comes back here to Adir, which seems to be festering with devils and never seems to be affected by the Perrin themselves. It exists like a cancer inside of Paradel. Perhaps I'm just connecting dots loosely with strings that are perhaps too long and sagged, but nonetheless, hashtag everything connected?
What's a hashtag?
Oh, it's what Zoomers call the pound sign. It's
pound sign. I don't have anything like that.
Pound is what I'm going to do to your girlfriend when you're not looking, because you're.
What does the sign look like for that?
Chill, bro. Damn, God damn.
Do you feel like you were gonna say something?
I know.
Are you gonna chime in?
Confirm Scott is not a true bro. He's a
filthy hoe. But
He's a
no.
hoe. Yeah.
Anyways, so joking aside, you say, what do you have? What is hashtag? She obviously didn't say the hashtag part.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So everything else was there.
I don't think we said anything.
Ophios almost spoke and then shut his mouth.
So you think there's an anchor that's keeping the devils separate here and not affected by the outside? Like here?
I don't know anything about that kind of stuff. I'm just trying to draw upon my knowledge of history of the past to hopefully help to understand the future. Forgetting the past is one of the worst things that a person could do.
The future. Let's go in time. Go for it. Grab someone from that timeline and say, hey, what happened? And then they'll tell us and be like, oh, that's what they're going to do. And then we stop it.
Time travel doesn't
Right.
exist, though.
I'm so excited for Rick and Morty. It's so good. Sorry.
Oh, I thought you were quoting Back to the Future, and then you went Rick and Morty on me. So now I'm checked out.
I was reading chat.
So she kind of like sits back in her seat, and you guys look around the table. Other people that happen to be at the table that do not chime in at this point. Telly's not there. Leon's not there. Arthur is sitting there quietly. Hasn't said a word. And that's the only other
Arthur's
one.
the one that we had. That
Does he look like he's deep in thought?
He looks like he's paying attention closely.
Okay.
Arthur's the one that you had spoken with in Amolta. You had delivered a
Right.
message to and so on. Yes.
from Ravina. Yeah.
Yep.
Arthur, you're being awfully quiet.
When you say that, it's almost like you break him from a daydream sort of a thing, but you can imagine he wasn't like sitting there thinking about like cupcakes. He was probably actually very much paying attention, just deep in his own thought. And he says, we all have our talents. We all have our expertise. Some are choosing to speak up when this is beyond their understanding.
I've got it.
I figured I wouldn't, but I suppose if you're asking for advice, as I've said before, if the debt was paid, take the prize, he says. And as he says that, he's like, take the prize. And like lets the S kind of linger for a second as he very poignantly looks at you, kind of turning his face a little bit to not look at Kithel or Elliot. Like,
Okay,
I
Yondis or
shouldn't have said
Ophios?
that.
Looking at Yondis or
R-
Ophios? Or,
No,
look
me.
at Rena to intentionally not look
Saying
at
the opposite.
sorry, it was the
Yeah.
holding of the S that really made me really curious.
no, just because it's like
It's just
it's like
he let his word drift off, kind of as
Yeah.
he said it. He regretted saying it.
Take the
like,
prize.
He
oh.
wasn't talking like this.
no,
No.
no.
Hey, I'm sorry about this. Ophios, can I speak to you privately outside for just a moment?
Sure.
All right. If you
Shoot you a look.
you can continue. I'm sorry. Just this will be very brief.
If we can be excused.
Elliot says, "Of course." And gestures.
Okay. We walk outside. Ophios, do you remember that story when we do you remember that story you told me about
Being in the past.
Or- right, and you were able to speak to the people there and tell them something, and then now, you know,
Are you
created a
talking
problem
about the
for us.
instance in which
today?
I threatened the Lopers? The younglings?
Yes,
Or are
exactly.
you-
Yeah, and then I
or are
told you
speaking
that
of
was
the
actually
time
what
when the mole actually took my blood, or so it would seem.
didn't. I don't remember if I knew about that, but those
Oh,
are
I
both
thought I
good
told you.
stories. Those are both good. Yeah. So, what if we did it again? Stopped Rena from using the axe.
Do you think that's actually possible? You spent more time in that temple than I did.
With the current atmosphere here, I'm not sure. I mean, if the war room barely works, there's a chance breaking time could cause more issues than fix. But if this is an Armageddon event, it might be worth it.
You know
Maybe
the
we should-
repercussions that happen when I merely threatened Paradel younglings.
Yeah, and again, I'm not sure if it'll work because that was something that was already present before you did it. So maybe the fact that we're in this situation still means we are unable to go back. I'm not sure.
Again, I wasn't physically there. It was, well, the other time I was, but that's a different story.
One time, yes, yeah. Yeah, I've traveled back in time as well. I've spoken to people from hundreds of years before I was born and passed through their villages. I know time was broken.
If you think this can fix the problem and could potentially solve this issue, if it is a catastrophic event and ends up being worth it, then it's hard for me to argue against trying.
You're crazy.
Ophios is in this to like he's worried about Rena, he's worried about Lopers, he's worried about how this will affect everything, but at the same time he's like, you know, he literally was back in time when that elemental was massive and they took his blood. How did that affect things? And then he's thinking about how it affected the Lopers, and like, your logic is sound. It just is.
This is like a this is like your car won't start, so you light it on fire and then start turning it on, and sometimes it works, I guess. you fill up the whole thing with gas. I mean, it seems, I'm sorry, but it seems that we've caused a lot of problems here, and no one in there is being helpful in actually solving any of this. They just want to argue about whether or not to wish for money, you know? It's insane to me.
The question is, and it always is this, is the risk worth the end result?
I mean, do you see the plane of fire right there?
Do I see the plane of fire right there, Scott?
Actually, not where you're currently standing. The plane of fire is like a good 24 miles away. You guys are actually standing in the region that has the moats to the positive, negative energy planes.
Do you see which one's above us? The positive?
Yes. They're kind of actually both in the basement of this castle, but that's fine.
What
castle is
which
kind of
one
like
can I
above
point
us.
to and say, do you see that?
But you can see all sorts of weird shit happening, yeah.
Okay, do you see all that weird shit happening out there? Now look, this world wasn't nearly that broken when we entered it.
There is one person that I could potentially ask.
I mean,
But
if
I
we could
don't
find
know if
13,
they're
I could
gonna
ask him.
ask. I don't know if they're going to have the answer you want. It would be Snogga the Abusive again.
It's kind of crazy that you can just call on a god to
I
give
can
you
only
advice,
hope for it to happen. It's happened once. It's happened twice.
Sorry, I forgive my disappointing knowledge on gods. Is Snugga the Abusive all-knowing?
All gods are omnipotent within their impotence.
He would know because he had the reason Ophius brings it up is because he had said that there were issues going on basically within the planes or whatnot. So
I understand, but what? What kind of answer is that?
All gods have more knowledge than you can comprehend as a mortal, but at the same time, like
Unlimited.
remember in the meta,
They
the
wanna
inner
serve
gods
their
are
own.
less powerful. They're technically just elevated mortals.
yeah,
So, Jake, what? What are you talking about?
don't do it. You die at the end.
I cleared Grishka's name. Get back in your corner.
Jesus.
Define the word omnipotent.
We can.
It's
Speak.
omni, which is all.
All?
Potent, which is like how good they are at making babies.
No, that's efficiency. You're thinking of efficiency.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I've taken statistics. I know what I'm talking about. Low success rate with Scott, though.
I am fine with the one. One and done, baby. I went to after a session ended. I think it was Wednesday. After Wednesday session ended, I went to go check in on Rory, and she looked so freaking adorable, sleeping in her bed, cuddled with the dog. I took a picture of her because Dad. And I was gonna send it to Rena and be like, "Don't you want one of these?" But then I was like, "Oh no, that would come off as like me suggesting you should have one." So I didn't because I was like, "Oh no, that's not what I meant." Like, oh my God, isn't this so cute? I want to share this moment with a friend. But then I was like, no, that comes off like one of those people that tries to heavy-handedly suggest others have babies. So I didn't suggest it, and she had no idea what I'm talking about till right now.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. It was funny. I was like,
You're funny.
oh, cats, delete.
That's what separates you from the boomer, Scott. That's why we're
Type
friends.
something else.
Beyond this.
I'm like, my
You
daughter's
know, you
so
could just say
trip.
hi. Yeah. You could just say, hey, what's up?
Gondis, do you remember when time was broken?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
This could potentially break time again.
I know how to fix it. We'll just do it the way we broke it before, and we'll fix it the same way. Unless you're talking about something else. You're not talking about what I'm talking about?
The effects that this could have, we do not know if this has not happened yet. For we were,
Oh, you mean us traveling back to stop something from happening?
yes.
I mean, theoretically, you traveling back in time and getting your blood drawn, I mean, that seems like a huge violation of time-traveling rights, is there if?
In this, I won't even get into that. I did not know I was in a different time period until after the fact when we spoke to that
That's
elemental.
fair, but I mean, like,
I think
it's
Streamlabs
called
might
Lancelot, so
Streamlabs might screw up. I think Streamlabs screwed up. They're probably going to say the stream died. I think Streamlabs just froze on me. I'm able to still see us move, but it's not bouncing around. It's not showing. Yeah, it's
the
not
stream
showing
is
text
still
over here.
fine, though.
Can people still hear us and see us?
I can see. I haven't checked here yet.
Yep,
they can hear.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
can
still
hear and
working.
see fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
weird. Streamlabs is like half frozen over there, but if things are still functioning, we'll just leave it alone and let it keep going.
Hey, Chad,
I
if
hope it's still
anything goes
recording, though.
wrong, if the stream cuts out, can you guys just type dead or put an F, like a big capital F or something in chat?
So I can restart. Yeah,
got that.
thanks. All right, continue.
Thanks.
Sorry about that. It's half frozen on my
Josh.
my stream, but that's fine.
Josh, I assume that's a trial. I assume you're just testing out your keyboard right now because you weren't sure if you could do it. And I'm gonna let that one slide.
It fixed over here. Yay! All right, good. I think we're good. But the recording. Oh Jesus, it's doing it again. The recording might have a hiccup. So if you're on YouTube and there's a hiccup, good job. But since it won't get uploaded till 2023, we're good. All right, continue, guys.
That'd be a really good
Question.
record for you.
The question ends up being if it's worth the risk, but
I mean, do you want to go on a tour and see all the damage we caused before you decide if it's worth risking? I mean, we can.
I think this needs to be discussed with Rena.
I think we should, I don't mean this to be rude, but there's only a small number of people in there that can be helpful with this.
Only Rena. I was not speaking to say this to the council.
I know.
Or whatever
I know.
this group of people are.
Kithel seems quite good at rating people. I wouldn't mind him sitting in on it, and Elliot too. Just the two of them have been the most helpful so far. They know the most about what's going on, so perhaps their insight would be helpful. But
It's your idea.
perfect. Just not the barrel guy.
What, you don't want a barrel that doesn't leak?
I mean, I would love one, but does he need to be in a meeting right now about this? I mean,
Ophio starts walking back in as we're talking about that.
Yeah, he'll follow you and keep talking. Like, I don't know, like a storing wine meeting or like an upcoming festival or something. Hey, we're back. Sorry about that.
So while you were gone, they walk out the door shuts behind them, and then there's silence for about 10 seconds. Does Rena do anything?
Wait, I'm sorry. There's just silence and it's so quiet. You can hear two people outside the door having a conversation.
Yeah, I'm just trying to listen really hard. Like, the hell did they leave me behind for?
The door is very well made.
She really fucked up this time. I think we're gonna have to reset the timeline.
Okay, fucking sucks.
I've been watching too much Loki and I've been inspired by it.
That stupid son of a bitch.
All right, so Rena, there's about 10 seconds of just awkward silence. Does she do it or say anything?
Tempting. I kind of want to hear Ravina finish what she was gonna say.
So you turn to Ravina and you say,
You
wanna
were
hear
saying?
I'm sorry, I just want to be clear because I genuinely don't want to step on your toes in this matter. Are you asking me for my opinion about the third boon?
You have an opinion on it. I'd like to hear it. Yes.
We, to keep things functioning well here, as was discussed in our pre-meeting before inviting you, have a number of things that we need to fix around the kingdom. Ensuring that those are able to continue functioning, or giving us a path to make sure that those things function would behoove us greatly. We need that. Or, at the very least, Dir is a place that has much difficulty, trial, anguish, so on and so forth. A fierce competitiveness between the rivaling nations that exist inside here. Path towards peace for all of us. These are things that might be able to be done.
You suggest I use the third boon for the sake of the kingdom?
Listen, Rena, let's be honest for a second. Woman to woman. Paradel. Absolutely terrible nation, whose sole purpose is to consume all the other nations around it. How much longer do you really think Adir has left?
I don't know.
Neither do we. It's a matter of time. They turned their eyes inwards, and in less than a week, they took south of an entire river. They took another town. They took what they wanted to. We're taking our measures to try to keep them at bay and dissuade them from coming in, but what are we buying? A year? 3? How exciting. That doesn't change the fact that there is a mountainous nation around us. It's a rising tidal wave that's going to come crashing down soon. For us to have any chance of trying to keep them at bay and keep who we are as people, individuals, fighting against the tyranny that is Paradel, we need something working in our favor here. Before we had these motes of power that seem to be erupting all over the place. Who knows? Maybe those will settle down on their own. Maybe they'll simmer down and they'll get quiet on their own. And that would be nice. Or perhaps a unity between all the nations in here. So that they're not just picking off all these small fledgling city-states with a couple miles of land around them. But they're fighting a unified, strong-minded, strong-willed people that have fought against otherworldly dangers and surpassed them. Make it so that's what Paradel fights against.
I appreciate your insight.
There's another option. Another way to keep us safe from Paradel. She looks around the table. She knows she's going to be judged for saying it.
Kill all men. Sorry.
Whoa.
How crazy.
Aggressive.
Don't forget on this.
That's very matronistic. Is that the opposite of misogynistic? I assume so. Either way. So she says, I mentions 2 things that we can utilize to our benefits to defend ourselves against the onslaught that'll eventually come our way from Paradel. But then there's always the opposite. It is often said the greatest defense is a good offense. Perhaps instead of trying to garner a way to protect us from the plague of Paradel, instead we unleash havoc on them. Making sure they have their own problems that they have to deal with. Keep them at bay. Perhaps even setting back their plans and how it is that they intend to harm all the other nations around them.
I'm gonna look at Elliot and gauge his reaction.
Elliot's just sitting there and he's got his face in his hands. Takes a deep breath after the talking stops and picks his head out of his hands and realizes you're looking at him. And he says, is there something that you were hoping to hear from me?
I was curious your thoughts. Other than what you've already expressed. Is this not your aim?
You don't know Rena's if you don't know Ravina's backstory, it's not my place to tell you. Her suggestions are ones out of paranoia. It's concerns of potential futures, as opposed to the very real and immediate ones. I say let's not act upon what could be, and instead what is. And what is at stake here is your soul.
Which you care so much about?
Yes, because your soul seems to have the ability to impact everybody's lives around it. As it did in Momley, as it did in Zatishk, as it did in the Gate, as it did in Jovincia, and as it does here. Do you deserve to be pulled down to hell for the number of people that have fallen by your hand? That's not my place to decide. But I think that you should have a chance for redemption. You ain't gonna get that if you follow through with the plan of using the boons. Sorry to get a little spiritual on you. I know it's out of the ordinary for me. But when faced against otherworldly things, what does one have to do but to turn to their faith? Faith in whatever higher power you or I choose to look to, or faith in the humanity that we have sitting before us? I have nothing else to say. And then they come walking in. Yeah, I know. Did you see it? It was like, oh.
No, Ophios pushes the door open. He's got his hand on his head, and he's like, I imagine Yondis is still talking about that barrel guy, man. What about the barrels?
Oh no! He stopped talking about that as soon as they got to the door. Maybe you heard
Okay.
like a little bit of like a festival or something. And then the door opens and he's like, "Hey,
no, I like
sorry
that.
about the disturbance." And then he sits back down.
I won't lie. I kind of want to make a character named Cannon, but spell it QANON.
Oh
Cuban
God,
on?
no, don't, no.
A character named
Please don't.
Cannon.
Please don't.
So
Do they come
funny.
and sit back down? I mean,
They'd sit
obviously,
there and be
as
like,
you're.
You understand the turn of the frogs gay. Like, put on the voice and everything. I am so patriotic. I'm just so patriotic. I need to. My name's Cannon.
If we walk in
Exploding with
and
patriotism.
it's quiet when we walk in, Ophios will say, "Are we done, or is there more to discuss?"
You walk in and say that, but without even sitting down?
Without sitting down, just as I'm walking towards the area.
Yeah, it's just a table in the middle of the room, right? So, you would say that, and other people might start going to say something, but honestly, what booms over them is,
I think all words that need be heard have been said. Anything else is just the same thing rephrased over and over, trolling on the same issue. The points have been made. Otherwise, just a constant circular conversation.
I'll stand.
in other words, we're in an echo chamber.
Is there somewhere we can stay?
Sorry, Josh. It's like,
Oh my God.
Just rocks rubbing against each other.
is it somewhere you can stay? Elliot actually will stand up. He stands up and says, yes, there is. I actually have a perfectly comfortable room for you. You'll have lots of privacy, lots of room to have your thoughts to you and to make a final decision. If you'd like, I can bring you there.
Perhaps we should meet again sometime just to plan this out well.
As previously stated by Flair and the others, we have many things to take to contemplate. If you're looking to speak with any of us individually, you'll probably have to reach out to us individually. That being said, you know our names, and you know everybody here knows who we are. You can do so as needed, and we will come and visit you as soon as we have the time to spare or call for you to come and visit us. In the meanwhile, Rena, Ophios, Yondis, allow me to show you to your room.
While we're walking that way, Ophios will speak to, what's his name again? I already forgot. Daniel? David? Donald?
Are you talking
Evan?
about Elliot or Kipple?
Elliot, that's the word. God.
Elliot's the one who's taking us.
All right, cool.
Daniel, David,
who I wanted to
Donald.
talk to. I don't know. I couldn't think of his name.
You don't want to see Donald. Somebody might drop a trump card.
Oh God. God damn it. Elliot, you said the books we would be able to have some shared knowledge. With that said, what about the equipment that was borrowed?
Equipment.
My sack.
I'm sorry, Ophios. I'm not
The hammer
particularly
sack.
familiar with your sack, but I can tell you that
The way we were able to carry the books out of there, as well as Rena's cape.
Isn't that back at the other place?
I believe the details that you're
Jesslyn.
referring to, Jesslyn had handled them, so you'd have to reach out to Jesslyn to reacquire those. She's occupied in Sun's Rest as of now. But I can show you, and it's up on the balcony, but on the other side, like around the bend. He says, this room right here will be your rooms. It was originally a room for one, but there's more than enough room in there. We'll have space for the three of you to comfortably stay. And he points down the same balcony area that you're on to the corner. He says, you know where the library is. That library is where I have all those details. I'm sure you'll be able to identify the books, the bookshelves that they occupy pretty readily. That library is often locked. I'll have a key delivered to you shortly, in case you choose to go in there and do some light reading.
There is one more thing.
Yes, there is. Do not read those books by candlelight. I learned that the hard way. If you're going to read after the sun falls, either utilize magical lights or be by an open fire, like a fireplace or the like. But do not utilize candlelight. Depending on the book that you're using, reactions can happen.
That wasn't what I was going to get to, but that's highly important. There
Nance?
is there was something we were going to do in the ruins below and did not have the time to do so.
I'm aware of that, yes.
I believe the ruins below here may have more insight and capabilities for us to do that.
My apologies. The ruins, the catacombs you're referring to were in Sun's Rest. You're saying that you believe there are catacombs here beneath Cursefall?
Did we not say that in our meeting? The Ravina, or the historical person.
Oh, she was talking about just like the history of Paradel and whatnot.
And stuff. And she
Yeah.
said something.
Oh, she said
about
Mo
that
ruins.
being-
Oh, yeah. This castle
Yeah.
was ruins converted into a castle. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's what Ophius is referring to.
if you're looking for a tour of the castle, you're more than welcome to take one. I actually personally, as was Kithel, were here to see the castle before its reconstruction. I had been with the Chosen for an amount of time prior to their being gifted these lands by the Martyr, if you believe it or not, and choosing to rebuild it as the wonderful structure that it is now, re-roofing, all the brickwork, etc., etc. That being said, I don't believe there are any catacombs hidden down here, but I could be mistaken.
Understood.
He opens up the door for you guys to start walking in. Thematically, kind of like the way he had postured himself and gestured or whatever, we'll say that, Jan Snowfields walk in. But Rena walks in, of course, like right behind them. But well, she's the last one to walk in. So we're talking steps behind them, not like a considerable distance or anything like that. Really weird. Something in my mouth. Anyways, so sorry about that. So he says, as Rita walks in as the third one, he'll actually say, I hope you find this room comfortable and a good place to contemplate. This was, of course, Rayrid's room.
Wow. Elliot, sorry. I could tell you were about to leave. We might also have an answer, Rena will catch you up, to this whole problem. But it'll be a little bit tricky. I was hoping that maybe perhaps if you and Kith will have some free time later, we could meet and discuss.
Reach out to us individually. Neither of us will be leaving Kurzfall.
What time would you be available?
I don't know what fires I have to put out. But this is the background of Regicide for a reason.
I thought it was a hot tub. What the hell? So maybe you oh hey. Maybe you could once you're done with your meetings, where can I find you perhaps when you are available?
I'll be able to speak with you in my office if or perhaps in the meeting chamber or elsewhere.
Where would I okay, so basically he's
reach
telling
out to me and I will get with you as time persists.
I'm trying to reach out to you right now.
Later, he's saying later.
Yeah, I know. Okay, we'll wait. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, bye.
And he will go away. All right, cool.
Care more.
Maybe he'll meet with you in the library.
Lock it, and we're like forever stuck here, right?
No, he didn't lock.
Okay, good.
He doesn't need to. That's not how the word trap works. You just open the door and kaboom!
So, Rena, just a quick catch you up on the plan. We were thinking about possibly breaking time again to travel back to before you got the axe and stopping you from retrieving the axe or stopping you from sucking souls with the axe so we can stop this whole chain of events from occurring. I don't know if that's something you'd have any insight in.
Yondis, it's not traveling back, but interacting.
Well, yeah, it's the same thing. We've all done it. Incidentally, I think.
Oh, so that's what your little secret meeting was about.
I would have pulled you out, but I felt it would have been rude for the three of us to step out and have a meeting and then adjourn.
No, I get it. I'm rather volatile at the moment.
That council believes, based off of the boons, it's like they're more like booms and they're gonna explode or something.
Not unless I do anything.
That's Ophios' attempt at a joke, by the way.
Yeah. Cool. The snakes laugh. Oh, he's throwing up. Get the paper towels.
And how exactly would you stop me? See, you weren't there. And neither was Ophios when I got the axe.
Well, who was? You were. Okay, so here's my plan. I'm waiting for Tyler.
Ophios is suddenly sleeping in Rayron's bed.
Hey,
He knocked out. We're trying to wake him up. Hey, hello?
How do you wake up a snake? Are they nocturnal? Hey,
He's like, it's devilishly comfortable.
What is the? Can you tell us what the room looks like while Tyler's away?
Yeah, it's ostentatious and very
Is that
regal.
it?
Well, Rayron fancied himself quite the high noble because he was not a high noble back in Malta. He was a lower tier noble, but like to fancy himself like he was. I am of noble birth, and that's just honestly an exaggerated version of who Neil is as a person. I'm from the Queenslands. All of your countries exist because we permitted it. You're welcome for that. Mind you, here in America, we whooped their ass and kicked them out.
Fuck yeah, we did. We put their tea in the ocean.
Yeah, that's right. And so while his haughty attitude does apply with Jake and Tesh, because as Australians, they still suckle on the Queen's teat. And don't actually have freedom, being a commonwealth.
That's what the room looks like. Thank you for the heads up. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks.
So his making sure that he could really portray that to make sure everybody knows his value.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks.
Like a
Yeah.
random leather couch that looks very expensive, made out of mahogany, in the middle of a room that has like a bunch of bookcases clearly made out of mahogany, with a whole bunch of like say trophies sitting on the side that of like trumped up like
China bowls, some really nice,
right,
A little
exactly,
obnoxious, yeah.
from like all
Yeah.
the lands that have been conquered at one point in time by the right. You get what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Yeah, we do. Mhm.
Yeah, I think I understand.
Yeah.
Hardwood
That's
floors.
Oh
But
yeah,
with a
well,
rug.
obviously hardwood floors, but made out of like only the quality and oh man, a carpet hand woven, right?
So how exactly would you plan to stop me?
So here's my plan. We start
Josh.
by Ophios wanted to speak with his god again. Maybe we could get some insight with that. I think that's a good idea, and the more help we can get, the better. We could then travel to my temple, remove the piece from the top to break time once more, and well, find 13, as he'll be in there for a long time. It probably wouldn't be too hard to just pop into a place where he might be, or a time he might be, I should say, in the temple. Speak to him about controlling the flow of time to send ourselves to a time and place we need to, and then doing so, stopping you from retrieving the axe, traveling back to the present day, and placing the gem atop the pedestal once more to set things back into motion.
Right.
So you don't know how to control this, is what I'm hearing.
Well, I mean, I was only with him for over 10 years. That's not nearly long enough to understand how to do it, but if there's anyone who knows how to do it, it would be him. Plus, even if we can't do it, if it's impossible, which we already know it is if we get lucky, but if it's impossible to control, perhaps he can speak of another way. He's much better at this than I would be.
Giannis, let me explain this to you simply. The
Sure.
only way that I was able to interact on the timeline was when time moved and I was in the same place in which I was able to interact with.
I know, but maybe with the gem or with some knowledge that we are unaware of, there is a way for us to be at the place and time we need to. I mean, there is the observation room that in the second floor that we could possibly utilize. I'm not sure what space requirements there are with that, but it's not impossible, I don't think. And if we break time, then it's possible we'll have more than we need to figure it out.
Does this not seem more catastrophic than what we're currently dealing with?
Do you have a way to stop this? The planes merging on ours?
You think that's what's happening by using the booms?
You didn't see the planes outside?
What?
Steel birds, Rena. Steel birds.
Now I'm even more confused. No. What are you talking
Planes.
about?
You saying planes like
Yeah, like the ethereal planes or
747s?
whatever. Yeah.
No, he's saying like Boeing, like airplanes. That was the joke. He said steel birds.
Oh,
Yeah.
not listening, apparently. Okay.
Woo!
I know, went right over my head. Okay, sorry.
Scott looks so happy right now.
I mean, we do have some hours left to get 2 wishes that we could use to further this plan along. Theoretically, if we're successful, we could stop the contract from ever existing in the first place and getting away with some free stuff, but I don't think
Who's to say that's not in the contract already?
That's why I'm saying it's probably not the best idea, but it is one we can take if we need to.
I already advised Yondis that it would be best to wait and see how bad this becomes before we risk making things worse.
Best to wait for me to make my mistakes first, then.
I was not speaking on that. I was speaking into the happenings of the world, Rena.
Rena, you did hear what Elliot said, right? About your soul? If we don't break this contract, what do you think's going to happen to you?
Just
You think
like
it's worth waiting to find out?
seems it'll happen one way or another.
I disagree. I think that was caused by a contract that we unwillingly took upon ourselves that we can fix.
And frankly, that Ray ran entrapped you into.
Yeah, aside from
That bastard.
I know. I sang it in my head.
You deserve to
Yeah, that'll show him, Josh. Aside
become
from
a lich. Then they
aside,
can never have your soul.
aside from the axe, getting the axe in the first place and having used it the times that I did, my other actions will likely send me to the same place regardless.
It's a scale, right? I mean, you've done a lot of good and a lot of bad, but who says you can't tip it back in your direction? I mean, if we remove the contract that guarantees you going there, then that opens up the opportunity to undo the other damages. Or, even if that's not possible, to create more good. And if that's the way the balance tips,
Like it.
That's the way. Pause. Pause. I like it.
Not pause.
thank you, Scott.
We paused, so my mind went. I'm sorry.
Those are my thoughts. I just feel that giving up would be, in my mind, the worst thing to do.
Giving up in what sense? Just
Just
not
letting
using
things
them?
be the way they are and working on a different goal. That's
Is that worse than using them, do you think?
the wishes. I'm not sure, but I'm saying if we don't try to do something, then we're accepting it, and that I don't think I can sit with that.
Well, it's not your fault, really.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
But no, never mind. If you don't mind, I could use some time alone. And I'll leave.
Hopefully,
Look at that. You scared her away.
yeah, it's been a long time since I've been with you guys. Have things are things different in my mind than they are in practice? Because it seems to be.
What do you mean?
Just I think rose tinted thoughts is all.
What?
Your face.
So rose tinted is like when you stain glass a different color so the light looks pretty when it comes in the room.
But when something's rose tinted, it also means that you are remembering it with like a fondness. It's like the filter of what's the word I'm looking for?
Are you-
Nostalgia. So
No,
something's
I'm
rose tinted is the
confused-
filter
I'm
of nostalgia.
confused by the question as to what is he saying things are or worse than they are, or
He's saying
I'm
that
very confused.
he's been away from you guys for a long time, and in his mind he built Ophios and Rena up to be different versions of themselves because he's been living off just memories for a long time and the same.
I mean, the closest thing you guys have even gotten to an accurate amount of time he's been gone is he just told you over 10 years.
Yeah.
That's not even
Yeah.
truly accurate, but that's the closest thing you guys heard him say. But it's like the gravity of the situation, it probably went over your characters' heads.
Mhm.
So, so yeah, he
Beyond
was utilizing nostalgia rather than true interaction,
Gotcha.
which is why it was so awkward when he got back. Because he's like, I remember you guys.
Yondis, let me put it to you this way. A lot has transpired since you've been around Rena and I.
For us
And
both, right?
Rena is not the same person that you remember, nor am I.
I know. Sometimes I forget. Maybe I pushed her too far.
You.
I don't know.
I'm the one that put her in the position to lead a rebellion that failed. I'm the reason she ended up at the gate.
I don't think I know what that is. Well, I
An
would know.
awful
I would know.
place.
Oh, okay. Wait. Okay, I imagine you would have told me at some point what the gate was because you were disguised as the
Our
gate guy.
recap.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Episode. Yes, well, mostly everything.
Okay. Sorry, sometimes I fuck it up. Trying to keep it
No,
straight.
it's fine.
Two different characters with two different
Yeah, I
points of views on everything, and we're in different places, different times. Yeah, it's hard. Okay.
Rena is not as... She's stronger, per se. But she's... Her ambitions and commitment to some things are different than they once were.
You think she wants to go to hell? Or some...
I think she believes she already is going there.
Yeah. That makes sense. Just between you and me, Ophios, do you think there's a path of redemption for us? Maybe your God will know.
Redemption is a fickle beast.
That's quite
Because-
insightful for you, actually.
Redemption is
on
a
one,
dish best served cold.
because on one side,
Like pizza in the morning.
who is determining what you are qualming for, what you are coming back from.
Yeah.
A lot has changed, but to me still the Lopers and Paradel's leadership are a problem. But yet, killing those that I see in combat that are fighting against us, like the one whose soul I saw, brought into question. A book I read below made them almost seem normal, the Lopers. Even I am wondering the same thing. If what my purpose is truly what it needs to be. I stand firm. But as you told me before in the past, which luckily enough my memory was restored of, there's more to life.
Did I say that? No, I know I said that, but he would be like, "Oh, did I tell you that?"
And when we thought you were gone, that stuck with me.
Hmm.
I'm not the all or nothing Ophios you knew before. I'm not one-track mind.
That's clear. So, what do you think then? We let her have her moment of by herself, or what do we do now? I guess.
Give her time, but if anyone is to speak to her, I think it would be you and not I.
All right. So we just wait till something happens, I guess. Unless you want to talk to your god now. I mean, we could do that little side split the party mission if you like. I mean, technically she left, so it's not us this time.
I know not if there's a statue to Snaga here, but I do know the plane of magma is nearby.
You could go in there alone. I don't think I'd live there very long. Just walk in and I immediately start sinking into lava and die.
So,
Uh,
Rena, you
yeah.
said you walked out the door, right?
I did, yes.
Where you go?
I'm gonna find somewhere quiet.
Knowing her, it's the tavern.
Wow.
I was gonna say Ophios eventually heads to the library to figure out stuff about Snaga.
It's neither of those places.
He just called her an alky.
Alchemist. Saved it.
But she's clearly a blacksmith.
So, Rena, you probably want to go somewhere quiet to walk around or whatever it is right now. Just go outside because don't forget it's what we said. It's like because you ended up sleeping last session. When did you end up sleeping? It was
Did we sleep?
hold on, because you flash forward us a few hours, catching a little bit of rest or whatever it was. So I think it's nighttime right now, right? It's
I don't think we've slept. Yeah.
Yeah, we
It's
have not
nighttime right
slept.
now. So you have the streets. You can just go kind of like walking through if you'd like. You know, just trying to make your way through the area until eventually you can just choose a spot to sit and relax and have a bit of silence to yourself or away from the others. Let me just pull up a map of Kurzfall for myself real quick.
I'm trying to remember, what time of day was it when it was raining when you put that guy in the barrel and killed him?
Morning.
No, it was night because the remember the bank was closed.
What about the
So-
time zone?
But that was
'Cause I
early night.
imagine-
No,
I
same time
imagine-
zone. It's pretty much north and south of each other. So Rena Weena,
Really late. Like,
with it being late, you know what I mean. Over near the smithy is actually a good place for you to go because that's over where it's not too far from the castle. It's over near Leon Jaeger's mansion. He's not here. He's with the army over in Sun's Rest. That's also where the smithy is. But the smith herself, she's not currently here. She was assisting with matters over in Sun's Rest at the moment, but she has every intention of returning. And those are the orphanages, full of, children who would be asleep because it's the middle of the night. That whole area is a relatively quiet area where you'd be able to have peace and quiet.
When what time of day was it when I last used the sending stone? My
you'd have
approaching
to-
on that.
You'd have to wait till dawn. I believe it's at dawn.
Yeah, it's once per day.
it's morning.
Because remember, that's why I was saying, well, if you plan it right, you do it right before the morning, and you can have like 2 messages back to back, right? And you're like, oh yeah, I should have thought about that. And I was like, I know, Rena, that's why I'm better than you. And you're
Hey,
like, it's not your fault. It's just you're from Massachusetts, and that's way better than Arizona.
You know that
And I was like, I know, it's actually a fact. We are
charge on your
better
cape
than
and-
Arizona in so many ways. Hey, how's that recount going? And you're like, listen, I understand. My state sucks. I'm sorry I cowed to you. And I'm like, hashtag blame cryptic. All right. What were we trying to say, Messi?
I was saying, can she use the power powder if we have that anywhere to get another cast of the sending stone?
That was used on
Oh.
the cape.
Yeah.
Was
Oh,
it?
Yeah,
No.
because we
My
used it to get down
lord.
there. We used the cape to get down there, and then the powder was used,
She used
for
it to leave. Yeah.
To leave.
Find a person named Dawn and
Well,
throw a
damn.
hat on, then it's
Well,
recharged.
You can just throw it at my daughter. Aurora literally means dawn.
Okay, throw it at Scott's daughter. And good luck getting to the bottom of the lake.
You
Mhm,
motherfucker.
Yeah.
I was holding back when you said he took a picture of her in bed. I was like, she has a bed down there? But I didn't do it.
Who lives
The
in a
lake,
pineapple
the
under
lake
the...
bottle.
Messy, next time I see you,
it
Messy, next time I see you, I'm going to punch you in the solar plex. Just so you know, like full on
Fine.
warning. You have been warned. You'll be punched in the solar plex.
All right, time to have a roll for charity with someone else as the DM.
All right. So, anyways, Rena, you go there. It's quiet.
It's a really crappy time to be getting a work phone call.
Cough. Oh, cough, cough. Oh.
Okay.
Why are you coughing?
Rena also has the hood of disguise, right? You have that.
Yeah, well, she probably would be wearing it. She's not really
Really?
trying to get noticed. She's trying to be alone.
You're
You
wearing
have that.
here?
though, right?
Well, while I'm walking through like the town and stuff, because
Okay.
didn't Kithel say that we're like not supposed to be here because somebody just saw us elsewhere?
we
Uh,
just had a big meeting with like 20 people,
correct.
so everyone knows we're here.
It's really shitty timing.
Well, I mean, but to be fair though, it's the middle of the fucking night.
Oh
You
no,
can
no,
definitely-
not sorry.
Oh.
My work phone call. I asked if they could message me and they can't. Fuck. Can we break?
Yeah, we can take a quick break. Absolutely, for
Yeah,
work.
I gotta call them.
So everybody, we'll be right back. Bye.